section 1.5. Let's do some application. How, what's the purpose of using quadratic equations on real life by doing some basic problems, let's say simple problems, you have to think. Okay, read the first one. I don't know, I just know the graph.
Dimitri is having a fish tank fit in the niche in the wall. The width must be 12 inches.
So the width of the tank is, where is the width? Here's the width. I know this side is a 12 inch. Okay, keep going.
The width must be 12 inches while the length is twice the height, decreased by 8 inches.
So they're telling you the length, which is this one, twice the height. Do you have the height?
No.
So what are you gonna do with that in this case? You can assume the height. Let's see how much I assume it. You can assume the height is x and the width, the length. So let's assume that the height is x. Right down here, x. This one is the height. And they're telling you to let the height x. In this case, height equal x. And I already have the width is 12. Now they're telling you the length equal what?
The what?
The length.
The length is twice the height, decreased by 8.
By 8. So twice the height, that means 2x, right? Decreased by. Keep going. So now you see, I got the information. This one is already given. The width. It's telling you the length is twice the height minus 8. And I already have the height is x. What else they giving you?
The total volume of the tank must be 6,840 cubic inches.
So the volume equal
6,840
cubic cubed over inches, right?
Yeah.
This is the height in inches, everything in inches. Now, they give you the volume. What they ask you to find?
What are the dimensions of the tank?
They need the dimension of the tanks. That means they need the height, the length, and it's already the width we have. But the main thing is the length and the. So how are you gonna make connection between all the given value? Give you the volume of the tank. Probably there's a rule for this geometric shape, which is the volume equal the length times the width times the height. Write it down. The length times the width times the height. So okay. Now the volume is given. The length, this part, the width is 12, the height is x. So I'm just gonna plug in everything here. The volume is 6,840. Equal. The length is x minus 8. X minus 8. Put parentheses because it's multiplication. Times the width is 12 times x. Is that okay so far? No, what do you think? What are you gonna do next?
Solve it. Solve for x.
We're trying to solve it for x to find the dimension.
Divide.
Yeah. Say it again.
Divide.
Okay, but what are we gonna do now? What's the next step? Now I'm gonna ask you.
Factor.
Before that, that's a good point. That's the next step. You can't factor now.
Find the common factor.
X on one side?
Oh, so what's the meaning of 12 times x?
12x.
It's 12x, the same thing. So like, don't confuse yourself. It's 8640 equal 2x minus 8 times 12x. It's the same thing. It's multiplication. 12x, it's mean 12 times x. What's the next step? That's the key. When you, believe me, that's how you're gonna grow your brain. When you're trying to find the solution. Like, I'm gonna check here. This is the confusion part.
So we got what you call it when you make two separate. It's the.
I'm gonna do something and you're gonna figure it out.
12x times 2x.
That's what you're doing. It's the same thing. You're trying to explain it. I understand what you're trying to say. So don't confuse yourself here. It's the same thing when you write down 12 here. So this option is the same thing as like 12x, 2x minus 8, right? And you don't want to distribute. So it's the same thing, but the 12x, it's written after the parentheses because we're using this rule. Now I'm going to distribute. There is 6, 8, 40, 12x times 2, 24x. 12x times 8.
64.
Yeah, here's the minus, negative 64x. Perfect. There's something wrong?
Exponent.
Exponent square. Now, what's the next step? Tell me you forgot how we're gonna find the solution. So first of all, which type of equations do you have?
Oh yeah, it's
I'm asking, it's a linear, it's a quadratic, it's a cubic, it's which type of equations? It depends about the highest exponents. What's the highest exponent? 2. So it's a quadratic. What's the first thing before we're trying to factor to do when it's a quadratic?
0.
0 on one side.
On one side. So how I'm gonna make this one 0?
Negative.
I'm just gonna move this one to the other side by minus. Minus 6, 8, 40 on both sides. So here, so it will be 0 equal 24x squared, 64x, minus 6, 8, 4, 0. Is that okay? Is that the same thing? Like this, you see? It's the same formula. Instead of writing down the 0 here, I write down the 0 here. It's the same thing, so don't confuse yourself. Here's the key. So already you set up everything based on the general form of the quadratic equations, x squared, x, and the number by itself. Now what's the next step? You already said that, it's factoring. So you're gonna go to the map. Remember the chart what's the first thing when you're trying to factor?
Common factor.
Do you have this common factor? What's the
Oh, actually, I don't know about the big number, but
it's easy. So you're gonna say, I'm gonna pick the 24. I don't know. I'm gonna pick the 24 as a common, right? So divide 64 by 24 and divide this number by 24. And I'm just gonna pick, because it's the greatest, I'm gonna pick the 24. So 64 divided by 24. So you can't. I have to use less than this number. Which number are you gonna pick? So that's the wrong thing. It's already messed up our 12 times 8 is 96. That's 64. 96. Here is going to be 96. Okay. Now 24 is going to work. So it's 0 equal. I'm going to take 24. Now what's the left? X squared minus what? 96 divided by 24. 4x minus 6,840 divided by 24.
85.
285. 285. Is that okay? So far? And what's the next step? So this is the GCF. I'm not going to care about that. How are we going to factor this one? That's the cool part. It's factor. Now you have to check what I'm going to do. This number, everything based on this number, because there's no number here to factor. This is just one. So 285. 285. Give me all the options. When you multiply two numbers, you get 285. So I'm going to say 1285, right? You see the number here is 5. So divide this number by all the numbers with 5 and tell me how much it's going to be. You get what I'm talking about?
7.
So we said 57 times what?
It's 5.
So 5 times 5, 7. Keep going. Now take the 10. 285 divided by 10.
8.5.
It's not gonna work. Pick 15. Okay, so 15, 19. Okay. So divide them because the number here is 5. So the whole number is only divisible by 1, 5, 15, 20, and keep going. Got it? Now check here. 15 and 19. Can I use these two numbers to get 4? Yeah, you can say 15 minus 19 is going to be -4. You got the idea what I'm doing? So next step, what I'm going to do, 0 equal 24 and open 2 parentheses, 1x here, 1x here. I'm going to put here. Let's say -1. I have only two numbers. I'm going to choose this one. We'll put 19 here, x plus 15. Okay, problem? How are you going to check this is the right option?
Plug it in.
No, again,
Oh,
have to do, remember what we did last?
you do 0 plus x minus 9.
No, if I need to check this is the right option, I'm going to multiply these two numbers, which is negative 19x, right? Multiply these two,
15.
it's going to be 15x. When I add these together, it's going to be how much? 24x, which is the right option. So next step, 0 equal 24 x minus 19, it's a plus 15. And then I'm gonna use zero factor property. Can I say 0 equal to 24? It's the wrong statement. Or 0 equal x minus 19, or what?
Plus 15.
Now we're gonna solve this one.
19.
19, so it's gonna be x equal 19. What about this one? Minus 15, so it's gonna be negative 15. Is that okay so far? Now the question here is, why you're late?
Did you do the notes?
Oh yeah, I have to give
I
you.
got a recording.
Oh yes, I am. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. So now the question is, x is referred to what? Height. Now I choose the height. Negative 15. Why? Just think logically. real life problem. So I'm telling you, the length of this room from this side to this side is negative 15. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So when you're working as an engineering and you get the height is negative 15, they're gonna kick you out. Because it doesn't make sense. So that means I can choose x equal negative 15. So this is, you can choose it. It's x, only assume that x is the height. So there's no height with negative. So I'm gonna go to the next one. X. So the length of the tank is going to be x equal 19 inches.
What if they're both positive?
Both. You're gonna try both. That's a good question. We're not gonna choose this one, but the main thing, we need to see how is going to be the tank with the volume, 6,840. So it's not gonna work with negative 15, 100%, but it's gonna work with 19. Now, I have the length. How much the width? 12, it's already given. Can I find the length? I have the height. Can I find the length?
Yes.
Because it's 2 times 19 minus. So the length, 2 times 19 minus 8. Which is equal what? Now, height, length. What else we have? We have the width. The width is already given what? 12. Now let's check. Did we get the right? We're gonna check this is the right we have. I just said it in 2 seconds. So I found that this is the height. I found the length. I have the width. I'm gonna check this is the right dimension for the tank.
You multiply them together.
Perfect, because the volume is the multiplication of length, width, and height. So if you multiply length, width, height, you should get what? 6,840. Okay? And the question she asked, if you have a positive number here, you're going to do exactly the same thing what we did here. Just go ahead and plug in and you get another 3 dimension. To make sure this is the right dimension, also when you multiply it, it's going to be that supposed to be 6,840. Okay? Is that okay so far? Now, this is the second question. It's also application about quadratic formula, quadratic equations. Did they say anything? Find what?
Integers.
No, wait, read it from the beginning. Read the questions, the whole question.
3 sides of a.
Whoa. Who's gonna read? Go ahead.
The 3 sides of a right triangle are represented by 3 consecutive.
3 consecutive integers. Okay. So this is right triangle. The first thing, that means the degree is 90. On. They didn't give you anything?
What are the integers?
3 consecutive integers. That's it? Okay. So, what is? Oh, okay. So the part here, you can say, okay, how I'm gonna remember the formula? It's a right triangle. When you're taking a pre-calc, you use this theorem. If you hear Pythagorean theorem, like maybe you hear it long time ago, it works only with the right triangle. The addition of 2 sides should be equal to the other side. But the square addition for these 2 sides should be equal to the third side. This is only with right triangle. So the degree here is 90. So the rule says, let's say this side, I'm gonna say it's A. So you can make connection with the theorem. I'm gonna say this side is A, this side is B, and this side is C. So Pythagorean theorem, C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Is that okay? Yeah, you're not gonna remember the theorem, but on the test or the homework, they're gonna mention that to you. In case if you don't know, they're gonna mention this theorem, okay? Now we're just going to plug in what we have. We have these sides. We need to find the value of each side. C squared, which is mean, x plus 2 squared. Equal. A squared.
Where did you get the two from?
Because that's a formula.
Oh, just a formula?
Which two? Squared.
No, not that, on the black marker, x plus 2.
This one.
Yes.
On the triangle, just x.
Yeah, no, you just the triangle.
Oh, it's,
Doesn't show it.
You write that down? You want to start that?
Does it show? Oh, because it's a 3 consecutive integer. That's the part. Oh, okay.
What, like, what I read?
Yeah, that's the part. Why I write down these? I thought I have it. What's the consecutive integers? It's the numbers, right? So what's the difference between the first number and no, just the real numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4. What's the difference between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3? Tell me. What's the difference between 1 and 2? The difference, 1. What's the difference between 2 and 3? What's the difference between 3 and 4? Okay, that's cool. So if I say x equal 1, the first number, how am I gonna get the 2?
And a number.
I add 1, right? So if I add 1, it's going to be x plus 1, which is equal 2. How am I gonna get 3? That means this number, I'm gonna add 1. So x plus 1 equal 3. That's 1 plus 1, 2. That means this number is x plus 2. You got it? So these are 3 consecutive integers. X plus 1, x plus. You got the idea? You still lost? All right,
Kind of.
all right, let's go back from the beginning. Now, here is 1, right? If I need to get 2, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add 1. If I need to get 3, what I'm gonna do?
Add another.
I'm talking about this number. Now this number equal 2, right? Now if I need to get 3, what I'm gonna do?
Add 1.
I'll add 1 here to get 3, right?
Yes.
And keep going. If I need to get 4, I'm gonna add another 1 to get 4, right? Okay, let's go back. Because we're not gonna need to work in general. When I'm telling you consecutive integer, you have to tell me in general. You're not gonna say start from 1. I'm gonna ask you, why did you start from 1? Why did you start from a million? Also, a million plus 1 is going to be 1,000,001, right? Which is the second number. Keep going. So we have to write down in general all consecutive integer. So we're gonna assume x in general, any number. So if I say the first number is x, the second number is going to be
2.
x plus 1. So if the first number is a million, the second number, million plus 1, then 1. Now the third number, x plus, keep going. The next number is going to be x plus, keep going. You got it? Now if they ask you, take 3 consecutive integer, I say this is x, now x plus 1. And here is the third one, x plus 2. Is that okay? That's Is that okay so far? And what's the next step? We have to keep going on this part. X plus 2 squared equal what? What's the next step? Have to do what?
We have to equal it to 0.
Before that, you always jump step. We always with the quadratic, we have to equal to 0. That's a good step. But I need to simplify it.
It should
So I'm gonna FOIL this part. So what's that mean? X plus 2 squared.
Write it twice.
So you're just gonna write down twice. It's the same thing. X squared, what's that mean? It's X times X, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Let's say X plus 2, X plus 2, X squared, right here. So X plus 1 times X plus 1. Is that okay? Next step, going to FOIL. Because I need to unite all the x's, and then I'm going to equal it to 0. So x times x, x times 2, that's how we're gonna FOIL. X times x squared. X times 2, x. 2 times x, and 2 times 2. Okay. What about next part? Write down x squared. FOIL here again. 1 x times x squared. Plus x plus x. Okay, so far. What's the next step? Find like terms. Do you have like terms here? These are like terms. So it's going to be x squared 4x 4 equal. Combine the like terms, which is this one and this one. It will be 2 squared plus 2x plus 1. That was the next step. Here, the step you said is going to be here. We have to, because the highest exponent is 2, so it's a quadratic equations. So have to write down the general form. That means move everything to one side. So if I move everything to one side, that's mean I'm going to say which one you're going to choose, which side. Move these here and move these here. I'm going to move these here. So I'm going to say minus x squared. I'm going to say minus x squared here. I'm going to minus 4x on this side, minus 4x on this side, minus 4 here, and minus 4 here. Is that okay? No problem? So this side now is 0. Two x squared minus x squared, x squared. Because we're gonna minus only the coefficients. 2 minus 1, 1. So it's gonna be keep the x squared. Okay. Now 2x minus 4x negative 3. It's 2. Okay, 2x minus 2x. Okay. 1 minus 4. Is that okay? See now all these simple quadratic. Can I factor it? You're gonna go to the chart. Oh wait, before you're doing this, you're gonna go to the chart. What's the first step when you factor polynomial? You factor quadratic. GCF. Do you have GCF? No. I'm gonna go. I have 3 terms. So what I'm going to do? 0 equal. I'm just gonna open 2 parentheses, right? 1 and the 3. Tell me the factors of a 3. Because 1 times 1 is not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna put x here and x here. 1 times 1 is going to be 1. Now with 3, I have 1 and 3. That's the only factors, right? So I'm going to write down 3 here and 1 here. It's up to you. You can write down 1 here and 3 here. Positive times negative. I'm going to put negative here. Negative times negative. Okay. Okay. Now, how are we going to check this is the right parentheses.
Multiply it to see if it.
The middle term. So multiply these two numbers, negative 3 times x, x. X times 1 will be 1x, okay, which is positive. Combine these together, the middle term. That means this is the right option. Okay, write it down again. Two parentheses equals 0. That means 0 is going to be equal or 0 equal what? How much the value of x here? How much the value of x here? So that means the first number could be this one, could be this one. Because x is the first number. It's here. Now what about the second number? So let's look this side. The first number is 3. What about the second number? It's going to be 3 plus 1, which is 4. The first number is 3. The second number, 3 plus 1, 4. The third one, 2, is going to be 5. So it's going to be x equal to 3, x plus 1 equal 4, x plus 2 equal 5. Is that 3 consecutive integers? Now, can we do the same thing with the next one? Yes or no? Okay.
Oh, wait,
We can do it. Okay. So the first number x equal negative 1, right? The second number is going to be x plus 1, which is negative 1 plus 1, 0. And then it's going to be x plus 2, which is going to be negative 1 plus 2, 1. But the question is, these 3 consecutive integers create this triangle, right? Because this is a length for the triangle. It's the base. This is the height. This is the hypothesis here. So it's the dimension of a triangle. Can you drive or draw a rectangle with length -1 and height 0 and 1? That's impossible. It's going to be only 2 lines. Because check, one of the line is 0. So yes, it's right. It's still 3 consecutive integers, but these 3 consecutive integers, it doesn't match with the triangle we have. That's why we have to go only with this side. Still 3 consecutive integers and make more sense. Let's say this is x is the height, x plus 1 is the base of the triangle, and this one is going to be the third side. You got it? That's why we're going to go only with this part. When you're doing the test, if you gave me the whole, I'm going to give you full mark. I'm going to write down notes here why we need that, but I'm going to give you the grade, the whole grade, because the way you did the math. But you have to use your brain. This one doesn't make sense with the graph. Got it? That's why we're not going to choose this side. This is still 3 consecutive integers, but this is the right option. Make more sense? It's a clock, right? Let's see. Read the question.
Unit hand on the face of a clock sweeps around once. It covers an area of 114 inches, square inches.
Okay, okay. The area is 1. What's the area?
114.
114? 140 or 114, right?
14.
That's it, right?
Square inches.
Square inches, okay. What else they ask you to find?
The length of the minute hand. What is the length of the minute hand?
That's me. We need to find the minute hand, right? It's gonna be going around, covering the space of the area 114, going around. We need to find the length of the minute. Now, it's an area, it's a circle. Remember the area of the circle? Area of the circle is
Pi versus times the radius.
perfect. Radius squared. And pi is 3.40. It's fixed, okay? So, okay, and again, when you check the examples, sometimes they're gonna give you the formula on the side. You go ahead, use this formula. Or they're gonna this is like a hint. You just say area equal pi times r squared, okay? Now, what do we have? So now, check to this. I assume that the length of a minute hand, which is what? X. So if you look to the X, what's that mean? Is that the radius of the circle? Okay, so I'm gonna plug in, instead of the radius, I'm gonna say it's X squared. Now, is that, I already have this, which is 3.14. Oh, how about the area?
114. 114.
What's the next step? How are we gonna find? Now, our goal is to find the value of X, which is the length of, right? So we're gonna do about that a little bit. I need to keep the X by itself. Don't overthink it. Your goal is to find the value of X. What's the operation between this number and the X? Multiplication. Here's the multiplication. Now, this is 3.14. How I'm going to keep the X by itself?
Subtract it.
3.14. Divide, who said subtract it? It's multiplication, so you have to do the reverse operation. It's not addition like what we did here to move the number to the other side, we're gonna minus or plus. This is division, so multiplication, you're gonna divide both sides by 3.14. 0.14. Cancel these, and left on this side, x squared equal what? Have to use the calculator, I'm telling you.
Divided by 2.14, 36.305.
3.30.
Yes, 30, the first two.
05.
So it keeps going. 30573.
So 330. Okay, it's 31.
36.3.
I'm gonna put 31. Did they ask you to round it or something like that? To the nearest inch. So 36.3. Ask you, okay. Yeah. Now, what's the next step? So that's the square root for both sides. Square root of x squared, square root of 36.3. And so these, the left is x equal.
6.02.
Don't forget plus or minus. How much? 6.02. That's mean x equal 6.02 and x equal negative 6.02. Which one is the right? How many solutions? That's wrong. How are we gonna find 3? We have only 2 options.
Oh, wait. I want to say 2, but that's just 1, right?
What?
Write down this again.
Because it can be negative.
Careful. That's the goal. It's a length. Can't be length, width, height can be negative. So it's the right process. But I'm not gonna choose this one. It's negative. So this is the right option. Got it? You can round it to 6 inches. ahead, read the question. You can read it, okay.
Morris is designing a new sign for his ice cream shop to be placed by the exit from a nearby highway. The sign needs to be really big. Oh. He plans on making the height of the bottom triangle 3 times the height of
Wait,
the sign.
That's a good part. So he trying to make the height of the triangle 3 times the height of the circle part. So the height is of the triangle, I'm gonna say it's a 3. If we say x, so how much going to be the height of this circle? Half circle.
1x.
1x. Okay, perfect. Write down here x. Keep going.
Having a total area of 74 square feet.
The total area for both. So the area for both equal
74.
74 square feet. Okay. Square feet. 3 feet square.
The county will not allow any signage taller than 15 feet. Will Morris be able to put up his cone?
Say again. Read it again.
The county will not allow any signage taller than 15 feet. Will Morris be allowed to put up his cone?
No more than 15.
15 feet.
It can't be taller.
Now check here what we have. That's the only part we have on the total area. But check the first part is what? It's a circle, right? But it's half of the circle. So if you look at the previous example, we already have the formula of the circle. So if I need to take half of the circle, I'm just gonna put half here. 1/2. You got the idea? Now, let's write down. So the general area for the whole shape is going to be half circle, right? Plus what? Triangle. You don't know. We have half circle and triangle. Add these together, it's going to be the whole area. Now the area is given 74. Half, it's a half. The circle. What's the formula of the circle? Pi r squared. I'm gonna write it down. Pi, already we know how much the pi, and r squared. Plus, what's the formula of a triangle? Half base times height. Yes. The formula to find the triangle is half base times height. Let's write down the half. Write down the whole formula, base times height. Okay, this is the base, this is the height. You can write down on the side. So you're gonna say, oh, how am I gonna get this one? This is the formula. Pi, this is the radius. Write down the radius here. This is the base of the triangle. This is the height of the triangle. Okay. Now let's go back here to the shape we have. Start with the circle. We already know this height of the circle is x, okay? Which is, look to the x, is that the radius of the circle? So if I go back here, the area is 74, 74 equal half. This one is a 3.14. The radius is maybe x squared. Yeah. Okay, so far. Now plus another half times. Now look to the base. How much the base? We're gonna write it down. Why?
Double the radius.
Because check here. This is the center of the circle, right? From this point to this point is the radius. which is the same thing from this point to this point, from this point to this point. That means this distance here is x, also x. X plus x is going to be times 2x times. What's the height of the triangle? Okay. Got it? And what's the next? Cancel. Can I cancel this 2 with this 2? Easier. Now 3.14 divided by 2, how much is going to be? I'm going to do the math.
57.
1.57. Okay. So 74 equal 1.57 x squared plus what?
1x.
Cancel the x with the x, right? Or the 2 with the 2. What's the left here?
Times 3.
X times the 3x, which is equal 3x squared. The x is not cancelled. We just cancel the 2 with the 2. So the left here is 1x. And x times x, x squared. 1 times 3, going to be 3x squared. Is that okay? Now what's the next step? How about that? What's the next step? What's the next step? This is the easy part.
74 on the other side.
No. You're gonna move the 74 on the other side if you have x squared and you have x and you have a number.
Oh,
We can do it here, we already erased it. Like this one. If the 3 on this side, yes, I'm going to move it because it's a quadratic equation and there's a terms with x and term with x squared. But if you look here,
Left turn.
the 2 terms with x squared, I don't have to move this one to the other side. 2 terms.
Right.
They are the like terms.
yes.
So what I'm gonna do, just combine them. 1.57 plus 3. 4.57 x squared. The other side equals 74. Next step. Same thing, what we did here.
Get the X on one side.
It's already on one side. But how are we gonna keep the x by itself?
Divided by 4.57.
Divided by 4. So here, so x squared going to be equal
0.19.
16. 16.
25.
1926.
How much you get?
16.2.
16.2, not 90. Okay. How much you get? The same thing? 16 point.
16.1926.
Zero two. Now, did you finish? 16.2. 02.
2. Just 2.
Just 2. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, now, because your calculator is rounding the number, be careful.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Yeah, not this one. I'm talking about the one I gave it to you. I didn't give you
We're
one.
doing it ourselves.
Yeah, it's rounding the number. That's why you get 16 point what?
1925.
Yes. The calculator is rounding the number.
Yeah.
Okay, now take the square root for both sides. Square root of x squared. Square root of 16.2. X equal plus or minus
02.
4.0.
02.
That's it. How many solutions now we have? No. Why is 1?
Can't do the negative.
one negative, one positive, okay? So we're gonna take only the positive because it's dealing with the length. Okay, so you can rounding this number x to just 4. Approximately.
For a group of workers can be approximated by.
Which is this equation, where put line under where x represented what?
Number of years since 2004.
That's really important. Put line under the whole thing. X represent what? The number of years since 2004. Okay. Now, what they asking you? Determine the average. First of all, let's go back to the beginning. The average weekly earning given by what? By this formula. Okay. The average weekly earning for the worker given by this formula. So they give you the key. They give you, here is the door. Now, let's look at the key telling you X in this formula represent what? The year since 2004. 2004. They're telling you since the years, the number of years. So 2004, the second year 2005, then 2006. How many years? 2 years. That means X equal 2. Now determine the average weekly earnings in 2007. So X equal
3.
that, you see, that's the key. X equal. So X equal 3. Is that okay? So now if you need to solve determine the average weekly earnings in 2007, what are you gonna do?
Plug in 3.
Just plug in 3 here. Plug in 3 in here and here. That means the earning is going to be what? .12 times the 3 squared plus 7.8 times the 3 plus 5. Write the plugin and tell me how much it's going to be. You got how much?
9.
So the earning 579. 579. 48. That's the average earning. What about the second part? A. Now let's look to B. So B. What they're gonna ask you? What they ask you?
What year did the average weekly earning reach?
Okay. In what year did the average weekly earning reach 638? So they ask you to find what and what they're giving you.
What year?
Fourth year?
Oh, wait. In what year? What's that mean? They ask you to find what?
The year.
Which is the year, yeah. That's what we need to find. But the year in this formula represent the number. The X is represent the number of year. Okay, since which year? 2004. So now B, they ask you to find the year, which is the value of X. Is the average earning is 638. So they give you the E, and we need to solve it to find the value of X. So let's write down first 638. Plug it here again. So 638 equal 0.12 x squared plus 7.8x plus 555. Here's the question. Now we need to solve it for x. Okay. Now how are we gonna solve it for x? Use your brain. How are we gonna solve it for x?
Gotta put X on one side.
Before that, that's a good try. But don't put the x on one side because you have x squared and you have x. Which x you gonna put it on one side?
Okay,
First of all, it's a quadratic. Do you have like terms? There's no like terms, like what we did here. Remember what we did here? These are like terms. I combine these together. On the other side, can I combine these together? No. I have a number here and I have a number here. So we're gonna convert it to zero. This side, we're gonna convert it to zero. How? By moving the 3, 6, 8 to the 3, 63, 8 to the other side. I'm gonna say minus 63, 8. Minus 638. And so here, 0 equal to x squared plus 0.8x minus 1.
-83.
Here's the question. Now, what do you see on the board? Don't worry about the numbers. The number is decimals, yeah, but it's still numbers. But it's x squared, a number with x, a number by itself. It's a quadratic equations.
Yeah.
Now, how many ways when we're trying to solve a quadratic equation? We have to factor. Can you factor this one? We have decimal number, Yeah, there's a number, but I can't use this number to get 2 decimals. It's kind of hard. Is there a way to solve quadratic equations? Wow. There is a way to solve quadratic equations without factoring, without using square root property. We're not gonna, because the greatest common factor is a part of factoring. Quadratic formula. And it's easier to work because we have decimal numbers. So I'm just going to think about using a quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is for x equal -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2 times a. That's the formula. Now I'm going to locate the value of a is, the value of b is 7.8, and the value of c is -8. Okay. Try to plug in the numbers. That means x is going to be equal to negative. How much the value of b? Plus or minus square root of b squared 7.8 squared minus 4 times a is times the value of c is -83. Everything divided by 2 times a, which is 0. X is going to be equal negative 7.8. That's our minus. How much the value of everything inside the parentheses? Hundred 6.8 over 0.24. What's the square root of 168? 0 point, so this is a plus or minus 10.03. And here is negative 7.8 divided by 0.24. This is the value of x. Be careful, we have two solutions. So far, we have negative and we have positive. I'm going to write down both. X for the negative one is negative 7.8 minus 10.03 divided by 0.24. Let's find the value here. And the next part is x equal negative 7.8 plus 10.03 divided by 0.24. Tell me the second one. How much you get for this one? Negative 74.29. Okay. What about the other one? How much you got with the second one? So 9.3. I round the number, okay? You're gonna get 9.29 here. I round it to 9.3. Now, let's go back to the beginning. So x is x is what? The number of years since 2004. So here is 2004. Okay, 2004. Can I use 74? Yeah, because it's a number of years. You're not gonna go back to 74 years, so we can't use this one. 9.3. That means since 2004, when you add 9.3, which is the number of years, how much is going to be? 2000 what? 2013.3. Does that make more sense? That's mean the earning wage is going to be 638 2013. You got it? Because we took the 2004, we add the number of years. That's mean on this year, 2013, the weekly wage is going to be 638. Get the idea? You just make connection.
An arrow, you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
An arrow is shot from a height of 6 feet straight upward with an initial speed of 20 feet per second.
Okay, so that's mean to a simple graph. They already give you the graph from here. Okay, they shoot the arrow from here, 6 feet from the ground. Okay. Okay. What else? 6 feet upward. Okay. And with initial speed is 20. Let's go back here quick. This is the initial speed. I told you they already explained that here. This is the initial speed, the velocity. This is the initial position. Okay. This is the gravity. This is the final position. Okay. They explained everything here. Go ahead. So the arrow shot from initial from height of 6 feet. That means the initial position is 6 feet. Okay? Because they don't stand on the ground and they shot the arrow. They stand with height 6 feet and they shoot it. Okay? Looks like they stand on over here, on the roof of house, and then shut the arrow like this. Okay,
Yes.
now keep going. When initial velocity is 20 feet per second, right?
That's velocity.
Velocity, yeah. Right, a model express the arrow in feet. So we already have the formula here. Can I write down the model now? This S equal what? Negative half. G, the gravity, it's already given. It's only how much? With the blue explanation. How much you're gonna use the gravity? Would be 32 feet per second squared or 8.9.8. I'm telling you, this is from physics. So we're gonna use the gravity equal 32 feet per second squared. So this one is given, this one is given, this one is given. You're gonna plug in all the information here. So times 32 t squared plus the speed is 20 plus 6. They ask you to write down the model. You don't have to solve it. Just write down the model. Now, can you write down the model? When you plug in all the numbers? You just have to simplify it. So S is going to be what? Negative. Simplify this. 32 divided by 2. 16 t squared plus 20 plus 6.
26.
That's it, done. This is the model. This is the model we're going to use. T, what's referred to? T refer to the time, okay? So this is A. They ask you just write down the model. You have the formula, just plug in the numbers. That's it, gone. Something? Oh, we missed something. Yes, I write down the formula wrong. There's a T here.
That's what I was thinking.
You should tell me.
I just saw it right now.
Okay. So it's a 20 T plus 6. Okay? So plus 20 T plus 6. Yeah, this is the right model. Now, what about B? So now we have the model. Do you have any problem with this one? How we got this T? Because it's already there. I forgot to write it down here, okay? Now B, who's gonna tell me? So negative 16 T squared, 20 and plus 6. Who's gonna tell me B? How long? What does that mean, how long?
How much time?
What's that? So our goal is to focus about finding the time. T, okay. How long, keep going, will it take the arrow to think about that? That's the 5-point question. So do you have the model?
Yes.
So if you look to the previous example, where is the model? This is the model. Okay, with this question, we create the model by using the formula already given. Now the question, T, you have the model, you're not gonna look to the formula on the top, you look to this your model. Now the question says, how long? I mean, we need to find the time. How long it takes the arrow to land? I'm gonna write down the same model, which is S equal negative 16 T squared plus 20T plus 6. I'm gonna ask you, what is S refer to? Back here. S refer to the height, right? So we should the arrow. We start the arrow here. So S refer is the position of the arrow, which is on the beginning, the initial is 6 feet, right? So connection.
-6.
Because we okay. So where's the arrow land?
Oh, it's 0.
You got it.
0.
That's 0.
The arrow is gonna be land here. How much the height here? It's 0. So where are you gonna put the 0? It's the final position. It's not the initial position now. It's the final position, which is going to be where? Well, this is the 0. -16 t squared plus a 20t plus 6. It looks like you're doing this. So here's the arrow with 6 feet height. When I'm through the arrow like this, the final position is going to be where? 0. So that means the height now is going to be 0. You got it? So now the next step is what? The next problem, we have to solve it. We have to factor. But before that, we have common EF, which is, you can, there's no 4 here, 2. So 0 is going to be equal, take the 2 out, it's going to be -8 squared plus 10t plus 3. Now next step, don't worry about this 2. That's it. We just take it out. We have to factor the rest. 0 equal, here is the 2. Open 2 parentheses. -8. Check what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 8 here. Don't forget there is negative sign. Put 3 here. 8 is 1, 8, right? What else? 2, 4. 3, only one option. 3, 1. Which option? Let's use 2, 4. I don't know the solution. They use 2, 4. Okay. So I'm going to put here -2. I'm going to put here 4. Okay. Okay so far? Now 3, 1. Let's put a 3 here and 1 here. Okay. Now what about the sign? I have negative here. I multiply these two numbers, going to be 12. Positive 12, which is really good because we need to get 10. So if I put positive here and positive here, it's gonna work. Let's try it. I don't know. So that's why we have to check. Yeah, I have to check. I just put numbers. If it's not gonna work, I'm gonna flip the sign, flip the number. So this one is 12t, right? By these -2t. What's the result? Is that cool? So don't scare. Even if you got it wrong, flip the numbers, change the numbers. You have only 2 options and 1 options here. Change the sign until you get the term in the middle, which is 10t. Now, last step. 0 equal to, from the statement, 0 equal -2t plus 3. How are we going to solve this one? Negative, okay, 3 from both sides. Still here, so it will be -3 equal -2t, then divided by. So t is going to be equal 3/2, which is 1.5. Let's make more sense, 1.5 second. Okay? So this is the first, which is positive. The next solution is going to be 4t plus, let's do it. 0 is going to be equal 4t plus 1, minus 1 from both sides. -1 equal 4t, divide by 4, t equal -0.25. Which one is the right? -0.25.
1.5.
So t equal 1.5 second. It's negative. There is no time in negative. You're gonna throw the arrows should be positive. So we're gonna go with the other one, which is this is second. 1.5. Is that okay? Piece of cake.
And I got confused where you went to that step right there,
Which one?
where to the left, top where you put the negative 2t plus, yeah, how'd you get the negative 2t and the 4t?
Oh, okay, okay.
The factor.
Cause factor 8 and 3. See 8, I factored 2, 4, 1, 8. But don't forget, 8 is there's negative here. So, so when I multiply 2t times 4t, it's gonna be negative 8t squared.
Okay,
So when you FOIL these two parts, it should be goes back here in the beginning.
okay.
So be careful from the sign. Okay, that's a good question.